United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As you can see, this little flag out in front here is a remembrance of 9/11, and that's in 2 days, on Wednesday. And at 8:30 in the morning at Memorial Park, the village will have a short ceremony, and he'll have small flags for people to put into the ground, I think around the what do you call it, the thing he has there from the 9/11, the structure piece. And then same day, that night at 6:30 at the Patriot Garden, the town will have a ceremony, with a speaker or two, and we're requesting that you bring a chair if you think you need one. It won't be long, but there will be a couple of speakers. So, public comment on agenda items or looking at the crowd, anything you want to talk about.
Amy Scott, Fort Montgomery. I just wanted to reiterate, at the last meeting you spoke about the fence by Union Cemetery. I really don't think you should take it down. I think the fence is definitely a deterrent from that turn if it's completely gone.
No, we're not taking it down.
Okay.
It's going to be repaired.
Okay.
Repaired, that's the word. Not even replaced, repaired is the word. Which that was 2 weeks ago, and it still hasn't been repaired. But L&L, that landscaping company, they're the ones that got the bid to replace it or repair it, replace or repair it. John, did you have something?
I have a question.
Sure.
If I can, yeah. Has the board come to any decision about the water tank up on Canterbury?
Decisions such as?
I understand you wanted to put a water tank.
Yeah, it's in process.
It's in process?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And when will that be finished?
Hopefully in a couple of months.
Oh,
They've got the groundwork done, and now they're waiting for the tank to be brought in, and they have to put the tank in by crane because it's down the hill.
Right.
So once that gets here, I guess it goes pretty quick. They did the piping work, that's all done. So they've been working up there now 2 months maybe.
oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. But now that I am, thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted, John? Or
What's that?
was there anything else that you wanted?
I'm sorry.
Was there anything else that you wanted?
Well, no, you have me down here on...
Well, it don't matter where I got you. Anything you want to talk about?
Well, it was I sent a letter
Yes.
telling you that requesting a disposition about the property.
Right.
And did you come to a decision?
Well, we're going to talk about it tonight, and Justin and I talked about it also.
So I'll wait till you get to me.
Okay. Actually, so we have as much of a full board as we can. When Richie Sullivan gets here, we'll bring that up, and then we'll talk it over.
Speaking of the council person.
Why? You speak his name and he appears.
Bring him right up.
Good evening, everybody.
I was just saying that I'm going slightly off of the agenda, but John Rodway sent us a letter asking if we would like to have the piece of property he has down the My Dock Road. It's useless to him, and he'd like to donate it to the town, John?
It's what?
Are you, I say that property, come on up here, that property is useless to you, and
Well, it wasn't. When it wasn't useless until somebody dug a ditch through the middle.
right.
A drainage ditch. So now the property is useless.
Okay, so now you'd like to give it to the town?
Well, I want them to donate it, yeah, or sell it for $1.
Yeah, right, that's what I mean, yeah.
Whatever the mechanism is for that.
The members of the board, you're familiar with it, Richie, aren't you?
Is it the vacant lot behind you?
No.
No, it's
Across the street. The,
Oh, I know where it's at. I know where it's at. It's right behind 26, where there was a variance for a house there. I know where it's at.
And then they dug the ditch across.
Okay, I'm familiar with it.
So, Rich, since you're familiar with it, it's a piece of property that borders both Sinanic's property, where he's got all the trucks parked,
Yep.
and it borders the three-story house in the back.
That's
It was
30.
one piece of property, but now there is a ditch going right through the middle of it that's allowing the stream through. I have no problem with us taking it from John,
And it's bordered on the back by the Palisades Interstate Park Commission.
yeah.
Back there. So,
There's a couple $100 a year on taxes I think he pays, about right, John?
Yeah, I think it's $190
Yeah.
a year.
It'd probably cost us $1,000 or more to do the search.
Right, so you'd have to obtain title insurance to ensure that
okay.
the transfer is legal, in essence. And there's a minimum charge for that, so I would estimate between $1,000 and $2,000 of expenses.
Yes.
Everybody okay with that? So I'll ask for a motion to accept the proposal from Mr. Rodway concerning his property.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody's opposed. John, there you go.
Thank you.
So I don't know how long it'll take us to get there, but
I'll order the title insurance immediately, but that'll probably take anywhere from 10 to 15 days to turn around those searches. Okay, I'm just trying to give you the, lay out a little bit of the parameters.
Don't mind me, I'm just passing out stuff.
well, we never really mind you anyway, you know.
Fill out, because later on the agenda, we're going to talk about the mechanic position and the description.
okay.
I sent an email out that nobody probably saw for existing and proposed, so I printed it out.
I saw that it was there. If I get
Disrupting
partial
the
credit.
meeting while doing so, just had to get over it. Okay? And here you go.
I have the minutes of our August the 26th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. I'll probably lose my voice in the middle of this meeting because I think I actually caught a cold, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Ty, spray him with that Clorox right now.
I have a letter from Orange and Rockland. He wanted to provide you with an advance notice that Orange and Rockland is updating its report outage text code. Effective Thursday, September the 5th. The new code is you text out to ORUPWR. That's 678797. They will be notifying the customers by email, website, bill messages, and IVR message, whatever an IVR message is. Anybody know? What's an IVR message?
I have no idea.
Okay. And there'll be a 2-week transitional period where the old text will also work. So if somebody needs to report an outage, this is what you'll be doing. But you'll be notified by O&R exactly how to do it.
Nice service. If you have a cell phone, especially because if the electricity goes out, then your computer is likely out. Modems, like, and phones, so you don't have to go look up the number for O&R. It's just in there, you have them in there as your contact. And they updated it already, so if you already had that ability, they just said, okay, you transferred over. I got mine yesterday or today.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Financial reports, I transferred $420,641 from the consolidated account to the paying account to cover this week's check run. Bigger items are Sun Up Construction Company. They're the ones doing the water tank on the hill. We sent them $337,926. FNB Finance, Equipment Finance, that was for the backhoe, $26,752. The Office of the State Comptroller, court fines and fees for May, $11,318. Legal services, $10,444. And O&R monthly service, $5,928. Board reports. We'll let Richard go last, but he's got all kinds of stuff.
I'm adding to it as we go.
Councilwoman Sporber, please.
The only thing that I have for this meeting, so Richie can cross it off the list, was the Consolidated Planning Board met on Labor Day on the Monday to discuss one item, which is the ongoing progress at 427 Main Street, the future Westies. So they met once they knew there was no input from the county. So it's at its next step. I think a public hearing would be next.
No, public hearing was held previously, and I believe they passed a resolution.
Yes. Thank you. So that's all I have.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wow. I
Councilman
want to
King?
try and be like that someday.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone at home. Just a few short notes from me. First is the back-to-school block party that we did as a collective unit. And I say collective unit, it took truly a village and a town to come together to pull off which I consider a blockbuster event on the 31st, which was a Saturday. My colleague to the left, Councilwoman Sporbert, was one of the folks helping to lead the charge. I appreciate your support and your teamwork. But to see the faces on those kids out there and then hear the sentiments of their parents that felt that the effort was well worth it, meaning the backpacks and the school supplies went to folks who needed it. And then we just had fun with music and food that we gave for free. So I want to thank all the folks that were actively participating, such as Sporbert was as a sponsor, the commissary at West Point, and many others. The Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club was big. I mean, they came riding in on their motorcycles, and it was like Christmas in August because they came with the backpacks, and so that was pretty cool. And additionally, the next day was pretty cool too. We had the 63rd annual Buffalo Soldiers Association of West Point do the wreath-laying ceremony. For those of us around that still can remember Sergeant Sanders Matthews, who founded that organization, and many years worth of hard work to remember those soldiers who were stationed there, called Buffalo Soldiers. The organization did them proud. It was a unique situation this year where they had some indigenous indigenous people, or better known as Native Americans, who came from Rhode Island and Pennsylvania and New Jersey and other places that were present, many of which were veterans themselves. One young lady was from the Navajo tribe from Arizona who came in uniform. And so there was this ceremony that was called the Bury the Hatchet ceremony that took place. It was incredible. And so as this thing is happening between those of us who were veterans and those who was from the native tribes, it started pouring down raining. I mean, literally just at the moment they started talking, it just says pouring. You were there. The supervisor was there watching. And what struck in my mind is just like soldiers, nobody moved. We just stood there and did the ceremony, but it was so meaningful and impactful that later I heard many people say that they're glad they witnessed that. So hats off to that organization for all that they do in the community to remember the legacy of those soldiers who called Buffalo Soldiers, many of which who resided in our community here in the town of Highlands. And so those are the two things I wanted to bring. Thank you all for your time, and subject to any questions, that's it.
I'd like to make just a comment on what impressed me very much there is on the Buffalo Soldiers and the Native Indians that were there. You had Indian chiefs from their tribes, and you had a female cadet that was an Indian.
Yeah.
I think she was a Navajo, but it was just amazing. And you had different ranks of enlisted personnel. I don't know if we had any officers there that were Indians.
I don't recall any, personally.
Yeah. But it was, now this is maybe the third one I went to, or it's not, I went to every one of them, so I don't know how many I had. But I was very impressed by this one because it just seemed like a bigger crowd with more being done. And
I felt the same, honestly.
And then that ceremony with I'm going to call it a peace pipe, with the pipe. I thought I learned something from that.
I smile because yesterday I called it that, and I was corrected by a friend of mine in San Antonio, Texas, on the phone. If you talk to the elders, don't call it a peace pipe. Since you're an elder, I will say okay. She said ceremonial. She said ceremonial pipe.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, got me.
It's a ceremonial pipe?
Yeah.
That was okay. Councilman Sullivan.
Okay, mine's a little bit longer, but I'll try and keep it pertinent to things that matter. So I'm going to talk about the Patriot Garden, which is I like to call it. They call it the 9/11 Memorial Garden. I've always referred to that as Patriots Day since 9/11. So the garden was dedicated on June 11th, 2005, and this Wednesday night at 6:30, once again, after 19 years of sponsoring it, Vision is sponsoring the annual 9/11 ceremony. 6:30. I hope to see the chief there and a lot of his people and the other first responders and all kinds of community members. I hope people from the village board come too. That's an open invitation. I hope to see them down there. There's a new flag flying on the newly repaired flagpole. Bill Etzel repaired that. I've mentioned before. Speaking of magic at that magical place, when that place was built, a large number of people in a collaborative manner got together, and after half a year of working every weekend, the garden got built and was dedicated. Doris Lent has carried the torch for that garden, and along with her was Bobby Pollock, who had her funeral mass today, and who had her, it was magic all those years ago, and there was a little bit of magic there over the weekend because Doris needed a work party to spruce the place up. So on Saturday, our former town board member Dean Yeager procured the mulch. He went to Lowe's and got it. And on Sunday, Doris herself, her granddaughter Anna, Michael Nonardowich, George Biscup, former president of Rotary, and Beth Laurie came down and dedicated our Sunday to mulching, weeding, trimming, and brush removal. The place looked great. I'd like to extend that to the highway department report I'm transitioning into, because today the place is being invaded by invasive growth. So the highway department went down there today to clean up some of the brush that's around there. I believe they're going there again tomorrow. So Greg knows the pulse of the community, and he responds to things like that. I'd like to thank the highway department, who's doing a great job, and I'd like to thank them for being down there today, and they'll be there tomorrow. Highway department's been busy over the year. Lest not we forget, there's still some FEMA projects out there that they're working on, which need to be finished, which need to be continued to be pursued to get paid for. That seems to never end. Greg has said he would like to start coming to meetings every once in a while and give a little 5-minute summary. I told him, I said, that's great. If you feel like coming here, we would appreciate that. I'll take care of how many tons of garbage to report on. You take care of telling us about things up at the highway department with personnel, morale, trucks you need, things like that, just general good reports. As everybody knows, we put the cemetery grass cutting out to contract. I think that has worked magnificently. I think they were cutting today. I think that's the 12th cut out of 13. One more 2 weeks from now should just about get us through the season. If it needs it again, we can do that in-house one time. So it has saved a lot of time and effort for them down here, not having to cut the grass. I don't have a comprehensive report on every project they're working on right now, but at the last meeting, I gave a pretty thorough report on a major water leak down at St. Mark's Church. And even though it was only installed a decade ago, it seems to become anecdotal memory as to where things are, what they are, and when they were put there. So the highway department has gotten very proficient at using the phone and diamond maps. You can put documents in there and all that. I know it doesn't replace Edmunds, but I have deeds in there and everything else so people can retrieve this stuff. And there is a device, and they have some money left in the water budget that, along with diamond maps, for about $350, you can clip it onto your hat, and it'll give you sub-meter accuracy. Because for this MS4 thing, it's gotten to where they want that type of accuracy. So you can pay our consulting firm 10 grand to survey the whole town, or have someone from the highway department with a device on their hat do that for us with the accuracy that they're looking for. So that's something. I have a couple things that we're going to propose about that. I think it's a smart investment. They got a couple of guys up there that know what they're doing with that stuff. Since that water leak was repaired, we're below 65,000 gallons a day average. Last week, one day, we're down below 54,000. So from now on, I'm going to consider as a barometer, the metric for our norm. If we go above 85,000 gallons a day, there's a problem. Let's just go with that. There have been so many leaks, it's been so hard to get a baseline for it. I think we're safe to say 85,000 gallons a day is where we should be at. And we're not too far away from that new tank up on top of Corbin Hill being built and filled. And part of my job, I'm over in LaGrange right now. We built 2 water tanks for the town of LaGrange. We're filling them right now. There's a whole process you have to go through. They're the same size as our tanks, and it's a magnificent way to introduce storage to your water system. So that'll be done. I know that'll be done before Christmas. And it sounds like we just paid them a lot of money, so maybe that'll help them to get money to get going faster here. Also on the subject of water, last week, Trustee Peter Carroll and I took a ride up to Bog Meadow. I spent about an hour up there with him, took a few pictures, took a few drone videos and whatnot, and we discussed about the dynamics of Bog Meadow and what else was I going to say about that? There's about a foot of the lower portion of the dam showing. Some people panic when they see that. That's perfectly normal for Bog Meadow. I don't know what their capacity is, but September and October tend to be dry. Bog Meadow to me looked fantastic when we were up there. Just want to let people know that I'm collaborating with the village water liaison to do so. The Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee has their annual picnic at Mindock Park this Friday night the 13th at 5:45. The Invincible Olga recently had a medical procedure that made the meeting in August get postponed. We know it's going to get dusk down there at about 7 o'clock. We're going to ask the chief not to show up until 7:30 so we can go ahead and get our meeting in, have a little bit of food, and that's this Friday night. And until we get to the mechanics position later on the agenda, I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Chief, do you have anything for us?
The statistics for August, the police department responded to 688 calls for service, of which 382 were directed patrols. We handled 1 arrest, 6 cases. We conducted 119 traffic stops, issued 82 traffic tickets, and responded to 7 motor vehicle accidents.
Thank you. Any questions, town board?
No, once again, congratulations on a fine-looking schedule.
Thank you.
Kelly, do you have anything? No. Okay, Rich, you can talk about this, or I can. The water meters have the difficulty getting into various locations, and I have a letter here that we want to adopt.
I think I've seen a draft of it, it's what Kelly had a while back, so, yeah. Do you have to read it, or, I mean?
Well, actually, it's short enough I can read it. The Town of Highlands Water Department has notified you on previous occasions that your meter is not functioning properly and must be changed out. All users of water system must comply with Chapter 203 of the Town of Highlands Code entitled Water. Failure to comply with your our previous request to change your meter constitutes a violation of the code. If you do not arrange for a change of meter within 10 days of the date of this letter to service your property, it will be shut off in accordance with 203-39 of the code entitled Discontinuance of Service for Non-Compliance. Please contact the Water Department telephone number and to let them know immediately when a change can be made. Apparently, they're having a very difficult time getting into various, and I'm sure there's problems with the people that work all day, but they've got to figure out something, and that's up to the people that have the meters.
I won't say where, I'm familiar with where the majority of these are, and there's a tenant living in one of those places that approached me about being invaded without notice. So I said to that person, this has been going on for like 3 years now, 2 years, and we've tried and tried and tried, and so this is only a tenant. The owners have been notified that it's time to crunch. It's crunch time, and we want to get this done. And I'm going to buy cake for the meeting when the water meter project is over with, okay? Because it's been a long, hard, drawn-out thing. We had fights with what kind of meters to have and whatnot. At least now we have a pretty good guarantee. We're all educated on encoders. It's not an encoder, it's an encoder, and endpoints, and all the things associated with it, and the Edmunds transfer of data and all that. It's been massive. And Kelly, Leslie, Tiffany, Greg, when Gary was here, we're all involved in a collaborative effort, and it's almost done. This pretty much seals it as being almost done. And I'm thankful for the cellular meters. I can turn this on right now and tell you how much water we used today, yesterday, and that's a really nice way to measure what's going on.
Well, I swear by my meter, considering that 80 gallons of water per hour goes through a toilet if it's hung up. When I get up in the morning, I check that right off the bat, because I have, I think, 8 toilets in my whole little complex there. It's good to have, and I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to have one. So, would the board give me permission to mail these letters out?
Motion?
Second. Second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. So Kelly, if you would get to Tiffany, and I think Tiffany is the right person to mail these out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and tell her she can start mailing them.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes,
Before
ma'am.
we move on, since we heard from the police chief, since I see Mr. Gathers here in the audience, and I didn't have any report for them.
Oh, but he's here because I asked him here.
Ah,
Oh, you didn't
there
know
go.
that. You didn't know that.
You were smarter than me. Yes.
Jeff, I'm sure you got better things to do than to listen to us, so if you would stand up to the microphone there and tell us the main purpose you're here.
So I'd like to apologize. I got in late And what I'd like the board to consider is hiring 2 new EMTs, Nicholas George and Kim Tells. Kim will be coming in to fill out the paperwork. Nicholas already did, I believe. You were right? Yes.
Kelly, are they ready to be hired?
Pardon me?
Are they ready to be hired?
They're coming off the civil service list.
Okay.
So they just need we have Nicholas.
Yeah, we have Nicholas.
So the other person has to come in and fill out his paperwork.
Okay, so I'll ask for a motion to hire
Nicholas George and
Nicholas
George and Kim Tells. T-L-L-E-Z.
maximum probation and salary schedule.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you.
Ty, very good job, man. The kids thing was very nice.
Thanks,
And
Jeff.
also, if I could say thank you to Kelly for helping me with the grants, both grants. So we got them out today, so hopefully this money will be coming forth and we can get the new ambulance.
I think where we got the grants from, they asked me not to announce it yet.
Oh,
but
then-
No, but that's fine. But but we didn't announce it. We didn't say where they came from or how much they were, but we got some very good grants to buy an ambulance.
Right. So also, the IVR is interactive voice response. It's a pre-recorded message,
Oh, okay.
Nice.
just so you know.
Yeah, sure, you gotta show me up, huh? Right now, public meeting, you gotta show me up.
People here, so- And that's not a knock at anybody.
Sure.
Fancy like that.
Okay, police again. I don't know whether they're soliciting letters or what, but it's really nice to get a letter. Chief Burns, I wanted to let you know what a great job Officer Wallach did today. We were following Google Maps and it had us turn onto the Palisades Parkway. We are traveling in a Class C motorhome, and soon as we turned in, we saw the signs that said cars only. We pulled over and not sure how to proceed. Officer Wallach came to our rescue and got us safely off the parkway. Her professionalism and kindness was so welcome and in a very stressful and somewhat dangerous situation. I really appreciate Officer Wallach and feel her actions were a great reflection on your department. Signed, Sandra Kearney. So Kelly, would you see that this letter is?
We already have it in there.
Very good. That's nice. This is almost 3 weeks, well, 3 meetings in a row.
No bad news.
That's great. Okay, I have a letter from Lincoln Tully. I'm just bringing this up on an MS4 program. There's certain things that we have, they're taking care of the report, but there's certain things that they need us to do. So are you familiar with this and what they need?
I haven't. I've been so busy with Bernie Cassidy and the sewer plant study and other things. I've seen the emails, but I haven't read them.
Okay. So I'll check with Gregor unless you want to check with him to see that they're taking care of this. You want me to do it?
No, I'll talk to him. I talked to him tonight. I'm going to talk to him again tomorrow.
Okay. That's for Greg to do, not for you.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'll help where I can.
The village and the town both got a letter from Senator Skoufis. Someone complained about speeding on Old 9W, Old State Road, whatever you want to call it. For those of you that are not familiar with it, our part of the road has a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. The village's part has a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Justin looked into who actually owns the road. It's a state road. So now we have to go through a whole process where the state has to come out and they lay the wires across the road, I guess, and stuff like that. So we're going to try and do it, but it's up to the state to lower the speed limit.
Right, so if that's the consensus of the board, we'll need a resolution at the next meeting requesting the state perform that investigation.
Board want to discuss anything right now about it?
I noted when I drove over it, which I do a lot, that the speed limit is 40. I think most everywhere. I'm not sure in front of the Grace Baptist Church if it's less. But up by the
Where the
trail-
culvert is, I think that starts the village, and that's 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll support the motion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who reported this to the senator. I wish they would have stopped by here in the village and just told us, but apparently they may have met with the senator on something else and what have you and brought this up. So it's good, and I'll let him know that we're working on it. Okay, Highway Department mechanic.
As with everything, it's much more complicated than it needs to be. That's just how I am. Let me get back to my notes here. So, I gave out copies of how it's written now, and I think I gave out my own copy, and how it is proposed to be written by Richie Sullivan, 6 o'clock tonight, because I didn't have time to do it until then. I was up here earlier today, I was gonna print it out, I wasn't successful getting the print, so I went home and did it, thank you. So let me read my email that I sent out to everybody. I asked Bob to put this on the agenda. Here is the issue. Orange County Civil Service has this and all titles at the Highway Department listed as laborers. Am I correct on that? Okay. To the best of my understanding, this allows us to hire and appoint people in a non-competitive manner rather than to have to take people off of the civil service list. So say if we change it to mechanic, that changes everything. So it's listed as labor. Now, the part that we want to change is, it's been described to me that the details associated with this position are town-assigned descriptions. And that's what I'd like to change, because that begs the question, why are we changing? Apparently, the way it's listed on Indeed as an automotive mechanic with the other duties assigned, spraying weeds, dumping garbage and whatnot, appears to not be drawing applicants the way that we hoped it would be. And I look at our description on Indeed, it doesn't look bad except for one thing I'll bring up. And I can tell you, while everybody thinks we're underpaid, I looked on Indeed, Jesco, which is a unionized equipment dealership over in Beacon, as well as Arkell Motors up in New Windsor and whatnot, they pay their union mechanics no more than we pay our guys. So we're competitive. We're not at the bottom of the barrel on that. So I think, it's not just the pay, maybe the description will help. So if you look at the proposed description that I sent out, so the existing has, automotive mechanic. I put that as municipal fleet mechanic. I'm not sure if that's the best title. It is a municipality. It is a fleet they're taking care of. Maybe someone will read that as a mechanic and be like, maybe I'll have to go spray weeds over the weekend. I can do mechanic work, And the other things associated, there was on one side, it had 70% of the duties and then 30%. The 30% were all over the place. Clear snow from town streets, sidewalks, maintain water and sewage and whatnot. I just changed that to other duties and said duties outside the scope of primary are as directed by supervisors, highway superintendent, foreman, and deputy superintendent, highway superintendent, supervise the DPW and the sanitation employees. I hope that's simple enough and that I didn't botch it up. I think that covers it. And on the Indeed thing I looked at, most of it looks pretty good, except there is a section where it says perform a wide variety of manual tasks on highway construction and maintenance work, clear snow and ice, water and sewer. That can all be assigned, and just have that be described as assigned as per supervision. So I don't know if what I did is good enough to act on. I would like to act on it and get us a mechanic, because we need one, and do whatever we have to do to change it. So I don't know if we can act on it tonight.
Can it be done by simple motion, Justin?
Yeah, I think,
sorry.
no, I saw him one before. I think it can be a simple motion that these changes are recommended, and you can move
And
forward.
we're not
in that
messing with
regard.
the county title, it's still labor, so,
Correct.
Would you like to
so
make a motion?
I'll make the motion to change it from the existing to the proposed that I submitted to everybody.
Second.
You're talking the job description?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. That's someone telling Bob not to vote on it.
No, it's my bedtime reminder. Anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
I
I copied you on the email, okay, June?
Thank you.
heard a question on the street, we'll call it, wanting to know what's going on with our dog pound. Apparently, that person that asked didn't see our meeting. On the 27th of August, we awarded the building of the dog pound, dog kennel, to FC&C Construction. So as soon as they get started, I understand from Frank that it'll take about 2 months to do the dog pound. So we're going to have a nice dog pound, very modern, spending a good buck on it. FEMA is aware of what we're spending and we're aware of what we're doing. And when you really think about it, especially he's going to do a cinder block dog pound, it's no different than the one we had. And that's the big thing that FEMA pushes, is that we got to replace X with X. We can't mess around with anything else. So it should work out pretty well. But it's going to take a while, and we'll be doing what we've been doing for the last year. Any more public comment? Anybody?
Bob? You
Yes.
missed the
What did I miss?
Oh, no, that's,
No, that's, we're going to do that in January. She had the wrong information.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to do that in January. Chief, you have something?
Just a question. When I spoke with Doris Lent in reference to Wednesday, the September 11th thing, there was a question about parking. Apparently, in the past, we've allowed parking just along 9W.
Yes.
Is that something that we're
Yes.
still...
We have done that, yes. So I guess you just put one of your cars out there and...
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
And everyone will just park behind that car. I'll have the lights on.
Yeah. Anybody?
Block that lane.
Public
It would be like
comment?
watching the Blues Brothers, people trying to get out of there with their cars, yeah, so.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Good job, thank you.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.